What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here with Kevole and Dilly Vanilli. We are going to preview the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins #1. Not quite #1.
No one has ever sung that song since 1972.
Yes, it's been a while since the Miami Dolphins have been #1. And I think if you're an optimist, you could see the Miami Dolphins as a team that are getting their quarterback back. They are a team that was a playoff team 2 years ago with this same coach, with this same quarterback. So that being said, the Dolphins could have a wide range of the spectrum is all over the place for the Dolphins. So I'm very intrigued to see where these guys have the Dolphins at, whether that's a poor team or a good team this year in 2018. Let's start off with Dylan. What do you think about the Dolphins coming into 2018?
I'm not very optimistic. I've never been a big fan of this Dolphin lineup. And, last year I pretty much just trashed them because of the QB situation that they have. Ryan Tannehill is back, though. I don't know how much he's not seen him on the field in 2 seasons. And, the last time he played, he got into the playoffs, but is he going to be as consistent? I don't know. In terms of the receivers, I think there's some decent players. I think it's a little it's going to be interesting to see what the receivers do. You got Kenny Stills. I'm not a fan of Devontae Parker, but I do like Danny Amendola, although he is getting older. And Albert Wilson is a good receiver. Frank Gore is 8 million years old. I don't know how he's running. Great running back. I love him. But he's 35 years old, which is dog's ages in running back situation. Hopefully,
Are you saying great running back right now? I hope you're not calling Frank Gore a great.
No, I'm saying great. I'm saying great all-time running back.
Okay,
I'm saying he's a great.
Fair.
No, Kenny and Drake, I do like though. I think he's underrated. I hope he gets some good playing time. In terms of their defense, they lost Ndamukong Suh, so that's going to be their biggest X factor for them in terms of losing somebody. But there's some okay talent. Cameron Wake, of course. They did draft Minkah Fitzpatrick, who I do like. But as a group, and you're looking at the schedule, look at the teams that they got to play. Obviously, they got to play the Patriots twice. They got to play the Bears. They got to play the Texans, Packers, Vikings, and Jaguars. This team is not going to be capable to win most of those games, and I don't think they're going to be very good. So with that in mind, my record for the Dolphins in 2018, sorry, Kevin Durkamp, it is going to be 4-12, which is the 3rd in the AFC East somehow. But I do not think this team is going to do very well. I have them second to last in their division. There's just a lot of competition in terms of what they have to play against, and I just don't think they're going to get the job done. So 4-12, my record for the Dolphins.
Kevole.
Yeah, this team is pretty much a disaster waiting to happen. I'm not a fan of Ryan Tannehill. Kenyon Drake is a young, exciting player. I think if he was on a better team, a lot of people would be talking a lot higher about Kenyon Drake. The loss at Ndamukong Suh is a huge loss, but that defense is old. I am considering a Twitter poll. Who will have more yards, Frank or Al Gore? We'll see what happens there on that. The defense, as I said.
Kev, that's just mean, bro.
What?
Hey, Reggie Bush did -3 yards. Hey, Reggie Bush also ran in 2016 -3 yards. So you never know. We ran more yards.
It's entirely a fair thing. Just this franchise used to be a standard bearer franchise in the National Football League in the 70s and the 80s, and even a little bit.
I was about to say in the 2000s. What?
It's not anymore.
Since I've been alive.
Yeah, it's not anymore. Back before Dylan was born, it was a good franchise with Dan Marino.
Dan Marino. Yes, Dan Marino.
The Marinos and
83 to 99.
Yeah. But I actually think the Miami Dolphins will be the worst team in the league. I have them at 2-14 this year. I think that they.
Wow.
I think this is a really
So,
bad.
Besides their quarterback situation, which you said you don't like Ryan Tannehill, besides that, why are you saying that the Dolphins are going to be the worst team in the NFL?
I feel their defense is still pretty old.
That's a fair point.
Their offensive line is old, and I don't think they have a lot of skill in a number of different areas. I think Danny Amendola is a nice signing, but I don't think he's going to be the same Amendola that wore that jersey. I think Gavin Escobar I mean, even like some of the other guys they brought, Bryce Petty, Brock Osweiler.
Hey, these guys are great. What do you mean? I mean,
this is scrap heap acquisitions. It's going to be tough. And they lost Pouncey and Jarvis Landry. I think that's huge. And I think it will help another team that we'll talk a little bit about in another video. I think there's a lot of huge losses here in Miami. And I just don't feel, I look at this team. I think this is the team I feel is going to be the worst in the league.
Fair enough, Kevole. Now, I don't see them as that bad, but I do see them as bad nonetheless.
Very bad.
That being said, I do not think they are the worst in the AFC East, as I have the Buffalo Bills. Although Kevole made a good pitch, I think that the Miami Dolphins are a 5-11, 6-10 football team. I have them at 5-11. I do believe that this is a more workable schedule than what the Bills have. They do still play New England, Minnesota, Houston, Green Bay on the road, which Dylan brought up. AFC East doesn't have an easy schedule, folks, if you figured that out by now. I think that his offense should be finally fully installed in 2018, being that he's kind of gone through this quarterback situation in 2 years where he's had two separate quarterbacks. Now that he has Tannehill, who's been in the system for now 3 seasons, like this will be his 3rd season, even though he didn't play last year, it should definitely help their offense to some degree. And I do believe in Ryan Tannehill more so than what Jay Cutler was last year for the team. He did lead the Finns basically to the playoffs after Matt Moore took the hold of the reins. Now, I think when it comes to the Dolphins offense, everything is going to depend on how good Kenyon Drake is going to be for this team as the primary running back. If he is good and if he is the X factor of this football team, this team could be much better than the record I have, but I don't really see him being a true difference maker at this position. I think he's a good player and a good talent, but I don't think he's that big of a difference maker. And then you guys talked about it. They lost Landry. They did replace him with Amendola and Albert Wilson. I do think Albert Wilson will actually be the primary guy there, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is their best receiver this season. They added Gesicki in the draft at tight end, but I don't really feel he's ready in year 1 to contribute very much. As Kevole brought up, they lost Pouncey. They did add Josh Sitton as well as Kilgore on the offensive line. Sitton was very good for the Bears last season, but he plays guard. Kilgore plays center. Kilgore's okay. Definitely not Pouncey good, but I think the offensive line is fine. Then you go to the defense, where my primary concerns are just that really, like the rest of the team, they don't really have one area that sticks out and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like Minkah Fitzpatrick, I think, should upgrade the secondary because he can play corner, he can play safety, he can do all these different things, and that will help a lot. I think Quinn helps their pass rush with Wake, but also their defensive line there in the rotation, William Hayes, Cameron Wake, getting a little bit old on that side and on the defensive line. And the linebacker position is just fine to me. Kiko Alonso is okay. Rashad Jones is good. TJ McDonald is back at the other safety. But to me, this is, like the other guys said, a very average team. They don't really strike you as a very sexy team at all. And they're just not a very sexy pick to do anything but like just have a poor record or an okay season at best. So to me, the Dolphins, they're just an average team that I don't see going very far and probably not making the playoffs this year.